Iron, lead shoulder goes down and forward for longer. Driver, we don't want the lead shoulder to get back to the wall ever. Iron, the shoulder breaks through the wall. Driver, the shoulder stays back of the wall. All right, guys, if you watched the video we did with Rob Cheney on how to start the downswing with the irons, a lot of you asked, hey, is it the same with the driver as it is with the irons? And the answer is no. With the driver, there's a distinctly different move we need to do to start the downswing, especially with the upper body. We're going to show you that in today's video. Also, if you've been here before or you're new here, we're on the road to 400,000 subscribers. We'd love if you take a moment, click that subscribe button down below. Let's dive right in. So earlier in my career playing, I used to always be really good with my driver, but I wasn't as good with the consistency of contact with my irons, and I never really understood why that was. And it really hasn't been until I've been teaching for a long time that I learned that how the body moves during the downswing is a key indicator, right? There's certain ways to move the body I'm going to show you that is helpful with an iron, and there's certain ways that's more helpful with a driver. When I've got this iron in my hand, I've got the ball teed up just for simplicity. I actually left this divot here from our previous video we filmed so you can see the visual of where the ball is and how the club is entering into the turf. When we've got an iron here, we know that we want to get the club head to do what? We want it to travel down. We want it to hit the ball first, and we want it to hit the ground second past this golf ball, like this divot in front, right? To compress it. The ball's sitting on the ground. We've got to hit down on it to get it go up and off that. But what happens when we have our driver, right? Let's say we've got the ball teed up. Do we want to hit down on this driver just like with the iron? Obviously not, right? Because we're starting with a different spot. With the driver, we want the club head to hit level or slightly up to maximize how far we hit the golf ball. Especially the slower your club head speed, the more important that is to get the ball to still travel far. Now, if that's true, one of these clubs I need to hit down more. One of them I need to hit up. The concept here is all about how the lead side of my body works. And we're going to create this wall on the screen and show you some images where during the downswing, if I want to be a good iron ball striker, hit ball first, ground second, compress the ball, a huge key is at this line that's at my lead shoulder, we'll call that this sort of impact wall here. I need to be able to get my lead shoulder past that line through impact. We'll say at impact and past impact. I need to break this wall with my lead shoulder during the downswing. That means my lead shoulder with an iron is going to travel more down and forward for longer. When my lead shoulder travels more down and forward for longer, that helps the club head travel more down and forward. Okay, think about the club head's going to follow the lead shoulder. I want the club head to go down and forward. The lead shoulder goes down and forward. Now, as my lead shoulder goes down and forward, where's my chest at? That's also at or past the ball, right? I'm covering the ball here. My head moves slightly forward. So with the driver, if we show some good images on there, what do we want to do? Well, now we no longer want to break that wall. Remember with the driver, we want the club head to travel up through impact. Iron, lead shoulder goes down and forward for longer. Driver, we don't want the lead shoulder to get back to the wall ever. Iron, the shoulder breaks through the wall. Driver, the shoulder stays back of the wall. And when the shoulder works more up and back, that club head works more up and through. We're going to get to what to do with the driver in just a minute, but if you're someone who needs to get the lead shoulder more down and forward with the iron, let's go over how to do that first. Let's make a little backswing, and now feel your grip, right? And again, it's going to be slightly exaggerated, but feel the grip end of the club work down and forward to the point where it points at least a foot in front of the golf ball. If I did it incorrectly, I would go up right away, right? That starts to point up towards the sky. I want it to, it's down at the top of my backswing. You'll notice on both these, right, that it's certainly turn behind the golf ball. But from here, it goes down and forward. Down and forward. I want to feel like my chest gets back to the golf ball. Down and forward. Down and forward. I'm just feeling that motion to start with. And my goal with that down and forward motion, feels like the weight's going into my lead foot, the shoulder's working forward, like my head's also working forward slightly with this as well. The goal is hit more down on the ball, right? If you're good at the driver but not with the irons, create that compression, shoulder works down and forward. And there we compressed a nice little 7-iron, probably about a 2-yard cut, just slightly right of my target line. Solid compression, right? Ball first, ground second. So the more you want to create compression and hit down on your irons, the more you want your lead shoulder to work down and forward. You can see with the Adam Scott, how he clearly breaks through the wall at and past impact before he starts working up and back around with the lead shoulder, down and forward. Now, we added a little visual and an extra little layer. I also put a little club inside his heel line at the setup position, just to represent where the lead shoulder line works. So we did this drill, right, with the club across. We're turning back and then we're working down and forward, down and forward. Get this a couple feet in front of the golf ball. I also said, just in general, hey, let's put a club inside your left heel, kind of representing the inside part of the shoulder. And I want you to feel like when you come down, right, when I make a backswing, the shoulder obviously works back away from the target, full turn. I want you to, I can see the club in my peripheral here. I want to get my shoulder to make sure it works forward of that during the downswing. Or you can use your left ankle here. Get the lead shoulder working forward of that as I go down. And so that's just a little added sensation to feel the same thing. So more compression with the irons, more lead shoulder down and forward. And there's 2 really nicely, solidly struck iron shots. Okay, so if we want to hit the irons better, create more compression, remember the lead shoulder breaks through the wall. With the driver now, okay, if you're on the opposite end of the spectrum, we need to learn how to actually keep the lead shoulder from breaking through the line. Said different, right, at setup, if we draw that line up the shoulder like Justin Thomas, we make a backswing, obviously we're going to turn that lead shoulder back. Now as it comes down, it does go forward, right? If we look at both the players at about hands hip high, Adam Scott's got his shoulder about on the line, Justin Thomas slightly behind it, but from there through impact's the key difference. From there through impact, Justin Thomas with the driver, look at his shoulder. That works up and back. Whereas Adam Scott with the iron works more down and forward. So with the iron, the chest stays more on top of the hips, the shoulder works more forward, hit down. The driver, the chest stays back of the hips, the shoulder works more up and back. Okay, so if you're on the opposite end, you just flip the drill. Instead of with the iron, you'd put the grip on the left, you'd feel that working down and forward, down and forward. But look at with the driver, that would be chaos, right? I'd hit too far down, the ball would go nowhere. Instead, I'm gonna feel the same thing from here. I'm gonna get this behind the golf ball, good backswing turn, and then almost right away, it won't happen right away on camera, but almost right away, we wanna feel this grip end now work up and back. Now notice as it's working up and back, my lead shoulder, up and back, never breaking through that front wall. Justin Thomas, his head will actually work slightly away from the target as he does it. His hips are still going forward. The shoulder's working up and back. The hips are going forward, but the head stays back. The chest works up. And if I feel that lead shoulder working up on the way through, then I can get the angle of attack working slightly more up through the golf ball. So here I'll feel a good setup, get my lead shoulder working up and back in the downswing. And there's a really high, straight, little buttercut. I might need more of that. Little buttercut driver to hit more up. Notice what? No divot on that one, right? Hitting up on the ball, maximizing how far we hit it. So if you want to be a good driver of the ball, it's essential that that shoulder stays more back. Now, as I stay more back with the shoulder, right, I don't have my hips and my weight all the way back. My hips, and Justin Thomas we can show on the screen, are still pushing up and forward. My chest is still pushing up towards the sky. Your head can actually work away from the target slightly, but the shoulder the shoulder never gets through that line. The shoulder stays back. Hips push forward, the shoulder stays back. Shoulder up and back. We'll do the same thing here, one more. Good setup. Shoulder up and back with the driver. And there's two really solid drives there I would take. Okay, so I need a little bit more of that as well. So it depends on what end of the spectrum you come from, okay? But if you're good with the irons, but not the driver, you probably need more of the shoulder up and back. If you're good with the driver, but not the irons, you probably need more of the shoulder down and forward to hit those irons better. See which end of the spectrum you are, give that one a try. It'll really help your ball striking. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you didn't see the how to start the downswing that I did with Rob, we're gonna put that card on the screen here. Go ahead and click that next.